Glen Clubhouse. I am Sarah Schmeltz, the Vice President here of the Hawthorne Glen Board. We have people here from neighboring neighborhoods out here too. Up here we have Councilman Steve Doherty, Commissioner Brian Glover, and Commissioner Connie Sellers. They're here to hear your concerns about this. This is going to be more of a friendly meeting. They are not making any votes right now, so they will not tell you how they plan on voting on this. But because they care about our opinion, they've come here to listen to you. They do. And they live near here too. So they want to hear your thoughts on this proposed project. And since we don't have a ton of speakers, this should go pretty well here. First off, Commissioners, would you all like to explain the project at all?
Yeah, I was just going to say, to your point, tonight is probably more just informational from our perspective and from you back to us. So, first of all, it's important to understand the process. Obviously, Greenleaf Properties will approach the Planning and Zoning Board at the next meeting, November 8th, and we'll ask for a PUD zoning since the previous one has expired. Hypothetically, if that passes, it will then come to the Board of Commissioners, where a vote will be taken. If it passes then, it will go back to the Planning and Zoning Board. From what I understand, at that third meeting at the Planning and Zoning Board, it has to come back with a very specific plat as to what their plans are. Now, from what I recall in listening to David Nahan, who is the attorney for the Planning and Zoning Commission, the plat that they have on file now, the drawings they have is fairly specific, so it will probably not venture much off of that. So, first vote at the Planning and Zoning, second vote Board of Commissioners, third vote at Planning and Zoning. If it passes the third vote at the Planning and Zoning, it's then pretty much, from what I understand, a done deal. It will then be recorded at the Recorder's Office, and it will go into construction however their construction plan sees. So that's what the process is. So to Tara's point, you know, again, we're just wanting to hear concerns, complaints, issues, and I guess we'll go from there. So
the reason, more or less, that we wanted to come tonight. Of course, Brian and myself, we both live in Whispering Oaks 1 up the road. And I saw Tara at the Planning and Zoning meeting. We talked a little bit. And, we do represent you guys, so we wanted to hear who's for this, who's against it. Have all the information out there, because some of you might not know all the information. So as much information as we have as possible, just to present that to you so you can hear it and maybe help understand it a little bit more if you don't know. And the more we heard information about it, Connie, she's also a representative of yours, and she wants to hear your concern too. So that's more or less why I thought we would have a meeting here to get a consensus of kind of your thoughts on what's going on.
The local boards, we organized the meeting on this past Monday with the developers and sat down with them to see what, if anything, could be changed. We questioned every little thing about it, told them what we didn't like about it, personally representing ourselves. They didn't sound up to a lot of changes. They're stuck on 3 stories. They won't go down to 2. They're stuck on the storage facility because it turns out that land that will be put on cannot be built on because it's left over from blast. So they can't dig any kind of sewers and stuff under it. So to make profit off of that spot, the best thing to do is storage facility. They said the most they can do for us is more trees that help block it, is what I was told. But if any other questions arise that they happen to have brought up to us in our talk, I will answer that as well.
And I think just to clarify, and from what I understand, when they talk about more trees, I think what their idea was along Salem Noble on their side would be more of the mounds that you see on, is it covered Covered Bridge, where you see the mounds and the trees that would kind of give some berms. Yeah, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's what they had mentioned to us. Okay, first up to share his opinion, I'm trying to read your name here. Maybe
Jerry Puccini?
Yes.
I know I was first. The only reason why I put my name first was because my question would have been just addressing your meeting with the
Yes.
developers. And the timing of this, now I know November 8th is when they're gonna request this all over again. How quickly does the first session go, and then the second session, and then the third session of our commissioners making some decisions? How quickly is that, how quickly does that happen?
Well, they have, in November, then they, I guess they could come to us, I'm not sure they could come to us that same month or not, if it could come to our next meeting. But then usually, normally the planning commission does not meet in December unless they could call a special meeting though, to have it in December. So then, but their normal meeting would be in January.
And so, if this goes through, if all the commissioners want this, and they say yes, we can see construction there in February of next year,
Hypothetically.
hypothetically.
Yeah.
I hope everything is hypothetical.
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking about it, yeah, I mean, because they meet on November, did you say 8th or 11th?
November 8th.
November 8th, depending on when the next commission, we meet every 2 weeks, planning only meets once, so however those meetings are spaced out would be how long the process is.
I don't know if everybody here knows exactly what is gonna take place. We've seen the plot map, we've seen the 10 buildings, the 3 stories. I'm ignorant as to what the whole thing is gonna be looking like and when this started. I mean, they were denied the start until November 8th. Why did that go through? What is the holdup in?
I think it's important to understand, number one, what they're looking for is a PUD. So everybody understands what a PUD is. It's a planned unit development, which is exactly what you have here.
Yes.
Okay, so, which is exactly what you have in Covered Bridge and Champions Point. Okay, so you have a PUD here, that's what they're looking for there. What they came for in October was a revision to their plat. Okay, but when it came before the planning and zoning, their PUD designation had expired. So the planning and zoning couldn't even hear the revision because it was no longer considered a PUD. So just to kind of summarize what's taken place so far.
That helps me, because I don't understand.
And this, same
No, that's
developer.
for that was the revision to the plat, yeah.
Yeah.
So before it may not have had a storage unit, it may have had a different look to it, and they were revising that plat, but then through sources, they found that their PUD had basically expired, and they said, okay, we'll have to come back in November and ask for that.
The developer has actually owned this land for quite some time. Back in the 80s, he tried to make it industrial. And the Stone Creek folks, that neighborhood right along that, fought that and got that turned down.
Are we all representatives of this group? If we all raised our hand and said no, does that influence any of you? If we were to take a vote tonight, does that?
I mean, that's why we're kind of here. That's why we're here for people to speak and hear your thoughts on it. I mean.
They want to hear your real thoughts on it, why you're against it, because they're hearing the developer's thoughts and they're seeing their well-written plans on how this may help the community. They want to hear from you how it may affect you and your life. How will it affect you?
Well, I believe the 250 families, 250 more cars, the traffic, the concerns of police. I mean, we've written letters. We're not the only ones who've written letters. I've written a letter, I've submitted it to the commissioners. It was police, the fire department is going to be taxed. I mean, we're going to be looking at a lot more environmental concerns. We came to Hawthorne Glen in particular because we wanted something more serene, and the environment is going to be totally changed. Our view out of Salem Noble Road and 403 is going to be entirely changed. Traffic patterns are going to change. So things like that. I mean, there are very much concerns of all of us, I'm certain. I'm not sure.
Now, somebody owns this land, a developer, and he will want to develop it.
God bless him.
How would you like to see it developed?
I'd like to see a park.
Yeah, well, I think we all would.
Yes.
Single family homes.
I think what helps us more than anything, quite honestly, is I don't think anybody's here to show support. I don't think anybody showed up here and said, yes, this is what I've been looking for the last 10 years.
And if there is, I mean, that's,
Please stand up.
I mean,
But I guess my point is as representatives, and please don't take this the wrong way, you always hear the NIMBY syndrome, not in my backyard, okay? But what I think we need to hear more of is really cold, hard facts that are issues. And what I'm hearing is exactly true. We hear about traffic, you hear about water concerns, you hear about police protection, fire protection. Those are things that are tangible things that we can look at and say are issues and problems. And if it can't be stopped, then it allows you to go back to the developer and say, here's what the neighborhood would like to see. What concessions can you make? How can you help them? Those are things that...
That was brought up Monday. I didn't see much give there.
And like I said, again, this is just a conversation. I'm not saying this is all...
Yeah, our concerns are that you are our elected officials.
That's correct.
You're to hear us, and take what you hear, and run with it.
Absolutely. That's exactly right.
All right, next up, Luann or Dan?
Dan Crump, 7812 Salem Noble Road, along the strip, kind of across from them. The biggest thing that I can see right now, and it's been going on since Hawthorne Glen started, is they don't have the utilities or the facilities for the utilities to handle what they're looking at doing. Right now, Hawthorne Glen has trouble getting enough water itself. They had to join up with Charlestown Water. And it alternates back and forth because one may not have enough, and so they'll switch over to the other. And if you look at the quality concerns of the water from Charlestown at this very moment, most of these people won't wash their clothes in their own washing machine because it comes out dirty.
Okay, so I'm playing picture here, so you use Charlestown water Sellersburg.
They draw from Sellersburg, but Sellersburg can't supply, from what I understand, can't supply enough, so they have a mutual aid agreement, I guess, with Charlestown to draw water.
Down here at 403, they've joined the lines together in order to supply them. The plant that I'm looking at,
I think of our feedback from the board has contacted the water company. The developer of this land has donated lots of great stuff to the county.
yes, he
Oh,
has.
and one being for a pump station over there. And what we're concerned about is that pump station would service his buildings and not us. So we have asked the top state people on the water development area to tell us, well, their development kick us off the pump station and put us back on Charlestown water. Because right now we pay Sellersburg, but we actually get Charlestown water because they just can't do it without that pump station bill.
And there's times when they can't fill a washing machine because they don't have the pressure. In addition to that, they're going to put my plant map that they gave me is very poorly written. It looks like a 5-inch line they're going to pull off at Hawthorne Glen to supply their water supply that's there. Charlestown cannot handle that. They couldn't handle it when they were having it by themselves. They can't handle it when they're looking at Sellersburg. And they're going to take a 5-inch line and run it across the road to his 240 units. They can't possibly do it. It's a lift station for his sewage. Right now, if I remember correctly, Charlestown and Sellersburg are both under moratoriums on buildings because of lack of sewage capacity. Their sewage plants cannot handle it. My understanding is that they're trying to upgrade, they're trying to get a federal loan in Sellersburg to try and get some. But so far, because political means, it's rolled over so many times with new politicians coming in that they've had to start over several times on it. They don't have the capacity to handle 240 more homes, even with their own lift station to bring it up to the sewage line. Charlestown cannot process that much extra sewage out here and transport it that far. And Sellersburg definitely can. If you drive through Sellersburg, through the backside there, any night just about you want to, you can find out real quick that their sewage is not able, the sewage plant is not able to handle it because the smell that comes through is just enormous. You can go back over it. The third part would be the fire protection, of course. Right across the street, I believe, is a 2-inch fire hydrant that they've put in as their main fire hydrant coming through for all the homes.
Christianity, I'll tell you something, Dan. Christianity said he donated ground right across the road over here for a fire station.
For for a single engine, one person run, the county would have to pay for that.
You know.
I'm sure Dan did, and Dan has done a lot in this county. He's done a whole lot in this county for 4-H, I mean, scouting, you name it, and Dan's done it for us. And I'm not disputing that. But you can't crap on your neighbors and then cover it over by doing good things for them.
Well, he's not even our neighbor, he doesn't even live in this area.
Right, he's over on the second road.
Yeah, and his partners, you know, they're at Floyd Knobs or over in Louisville, Kentucky, and you know, their units start at 500 square feet. They can build them, but then what happens when they sell and they become Section 8?
Well, I think from the plats, and correct me if I'm wrong, and their units are designed to be 900 square feet and 1,050 square feet.
That's not what they told
No,
us.
that ain't what I got.
That's what I was told. I don't
They
know.
Well,
said
they were at the-
That's one better.
They said 500 square feet, 700 or 750, or 900 or 950. 500 square feet.
And the most efficient one was gonna be 900 a month.
They said they were basing off of our minimums only, is what they said.
Well, Dan Christiani may have donated the land for a firehouse, and that's nice. But getting somebody to finance a firehouse and put a $250,000 Class A pumper in it, it's nice to have the land, but if you don't have anybody that's gonna pay for the firehouse and the equipment, that land doesn't do any good.
Absolutely.
Or the maintenance on the firehouse and the equipment.
The manpower to man that firehouse.
Right.
I'd like to add a real world experience here, if I might, to the fire hazard, and that is my neighbor's house on Stone Creek Court burned to the ground.
Yes.
Lightning hit it. It took the fire department, first of all, the decision of which fire department was going to respond.
Call 911.
They don't know. And so it was either going to be Charlestown or it was going to be Sellersburg, and they're both volunteer.
They are.
So the response time was incredibly long. When they got there, they discovered they had no water. They had to build a pool in the cul-de-sac, bring in a pumper, fill it full of water and pump from there. Those folks lost their homes. Everything, total loss. So the water consumption problem is a real problem. It costs these folks a home.
So what's gonna happen if we have a fire here? What's
All
gonna
right,
happen
let's
if we
stay on
have
the
a fire
list here.
Is it
Next
gonna
up,
be Sellersburg? Is it gonna be Charlestown? Are they gonna have enough water?
That'd be a good meeting.
That's a very good question to ask.
It's the same thing with the.
next up, John Brown.
They don't know, they say not to get down.
I'm John Groen, I'm the guy that's been passing out the yellow sheets in all your all's mailbox with my wife Donna.
Thank you,
You
John.
got me, thank you. You can help me if I put some yellow paper in your yard. Anyway, I've lived here for 41 years, it's a great place to live. It's needless to say, we all came out here because we're trying to get away from the problems in the city. And we've managed to accomplish that through a lot of financial hardship. And I know everybody here feels that, and they put a financial burden on themselves to get here. The other side of this thing is, I'm a landlord in the city of New Albany. I know what Section 8 is. I don't take it. Okay? The reason why I don't take it is I don't want to have people living with me who don't want to pay their bills. And if you have a 500 square foot apartment, okay, it's a question of time until those units are so new and you get $1,000 a month for them. Now, when the economy goes down, the rents will go down, you're going to get to such a state, and the owners will have to take and get Section 8 in order to keep the cash flow going. That's just a fact of life. Now, I would say one thing, and I'll shut up. The commissioners and the zoning board give everybody 2 minutes to talk. I'd like to everybody decide what they want to talk about, and not everybody say the same thing 10 times. So somebody talk about fire protection, somebody talk about Section 8, somebody talk about this, that, and the other, but we need 8 or 10 of them in a row to get the point across. We're just not all complainers about what's going on. We beat Christianity 30 years ago. And the way we did that was, we did not cave when it come time for a zoning vote. We did not cave. And he came back to my basement, in my basement, with the plan, what if we built houses? Fine, go out and get a PUD. He did. And then he sat on it for 30 years. Why didn't we build a normal subdivision like Hawthorne and Glen? I have no idea, except for one thing. It's based back in Reed. They bought the wrong property, too small a property to take and put what they want to do to make the cash flow they want to make into this thing. That's all it is. It's strictly a business decision. So, this is why this is occurring. If the Hawthorne thing across there, it'd be fine. I'd love that. But we gotta get his mind changed again. This is the second time, folks. It's come up once before, we got to change before. Thank you.
Thank you. And Connie and Bill.
Bill won't be speaking. I'm Connie Moser, and I live in West Spring Oaks too. And I really appreciate all of you coming tonight, the commissioners especially, to listen to us and give us a dry run so we have a better concept of what we're trying to do. I was at the meeting the other night with the developers, and when you say it's a well thought out plan, I disagree with that completely.
No, I didn't say it was well thought out. I think what planning and zoning said was that, in their opinion, this was detailed enough for them to look at. I never said it was a well thought out plan.
Okay.
No.
All right. That's what it sounded like to me.
No, they just said it was.
Sure we were,
What I said was, when they come to the first two meetings, it doesn't have to be extremely detailed. At the very last planning and zoning meeting that they vote on before they record it, it has to be very specific and detailed, such as height of buildings, parking lots, all that stuff. So no, that was.
Okay, well, did you see the photograph that they, the rendering that they showed us of the apartment style? Okay, we have a picture that they gave us.
All I've seen is this. All I've seen is this.
I've seen the plat. I mean,
This looks like it came from 1960s, so.
You can tell by the
I mean, you can tell by the vehicle. So that's what they told us they were going to build, something similar to that. So I hope that's not the case. Aren't those cars from like?
You're laughing. I wonder what they.
like he said, he asked me if it was a Buick. I said no, it was a Cadillac.
Okay, so.
So I wonder where these. Do you know where these are at? Where this picture was taken?
No,
Or if it was
sorry, I
another
don't.
one of their
The
previous-
developer.
All you have to do is get a hold of the developer, they'll know.
So what it feels like to me is that they're putting the cart before the horse, because the facts that they quoted to us, what they said, like, we need housing for River Ridge employees. Well, if that's correct, if those apartments are geared to River Ridge employees, how are they gonna get to work? Are they gonna take 403? No. They're gonna take Salem Noble Road. Right. Salem Noble Road. We're already, right, exactly, everybody knows that. We're all doing the same thing, right. West Spring Oaks 2, we have an additional 125 homes. We're 200 homes right now, and 125 more to go. Skyline has 200 homes. West Spring Oaks 1, how many homes do you have? Is anybody here from West Spring Oaks 1?
We are.
Yes.
Elizabeth, for sure.
How many homes? Okay, but
I've been there
that
13 years and I don't know. Quite a few.
road is not meant to carry that many people all going to work at the same time. That's just not even plausible.
Right there.
Yeah.
It was crazy when they said that.
So then they said, well, they need that housing because millennials don't want to buy a home. They don't want to buy property. As a matter of fact, they don't even want to have cars. So I'm wondering how they're going to get to work at all. There is no public transportation. No. So if you add another 225 people and then tell me that they don't drive vehicles, I don't know how they're going to get to work. So the environmental concerns, you know, that's a lot of impermeable, my mouth's dry now because I've talked in public for a long time, but you know what I'm trying to say? The water won't filter through anymore.
That's more than 225 people. That's
Right.
225
But
units.
that's-
Right.
More like 500, 700 people.
Right in front of this right here, they've got a permit for apartments that they can start building tomorrow. It's a live permit.
And I
Where's
think
that?
a real
Right here in
issue,
front of Hawthorne's Lane, right there on
This side.
403.
yeah. But I think a real issue.
I wasn't aware if everybody in the room was aware of that, that's why I never said anything about it.
Well, it's there. Why wouldn't you say something about it?
I just, because it was not an issue right now, I just thought that,
I mean, it's
Most people moving down here,
They can break ground on those tomorrow. There's a reason they're not.
But the big stickler for all of us is the youth storage facility. If you start with what appears to be a commercial endeavor, and you start there at the corner of 403, what's gonna happen to that 34 acres next to us on Whispering Oaks 2? Once that starts, those kind of projects, you know, I think if he had come and said, we're gonna build some apartments in the square with the restaurants and maybe a bar or something like that, but those youth sport facilities just, that was the end of it.
Don't get that much junk, get rid of it.
Right. Okay, so that's good for me. Thank you very much.
If I can, I'd like to have something with what Connie.
No, it's a storage unit.
those are,
Homes.
Those are
Patio homes or?
If I can, I'd like to add something that Connie just said. You know, I keep hearing this figure, 240 cars. But if you've got 240 units, and if only 60% of those units have 2 cars, you're actually looking at 400 cars.
They actually have 500 parking
And
spaces.
also, I don't know if Jack's here, I don't see
Okay,
him, I
that's
talked
good.
to Jack on the phone. And this is something you should be concerned about. Jack told me that it's met all the requirements, and I'm not gonna say how I think he's leaning, and I'll just take off the comments, but he said, you living in Whispering Oaks down the road, he said, there's 2 other pieces of property with 30